And I'll change this to speaker. All right. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining in. This is to let you know, for those that are listening in and you're live on the class, we are streaming live in the Joy Space, the private Facebook group. And this is also being recorded and will go out and be shared with other people that have signed up for the replays. Is that okay, Emily, just to get that affirmation? Okay, beautiful. All right. Hopefully you guys have caught the 2 first master classes. It gave a lot of good tips and tools, but the class is going to stand alone by itself. So no worries if you haven't, but you can get even more from this class if you do go back and listen to the 2 first master classes. And for those of you that are unfamiliar with me, I'm Sharon Svensson Hypnosis. And I have been a board certified hypnotherapist practicing as a hypnotist since 2006. And I have worked with a couple of thousand people, helping them to get happier and as a result, achieve more goals and dreams and live a more resilient, thriving life. People have mitigated or completely reversed health conditions, some that have been called incurable or uncurable, that people have turned around mental health conditions like panic and anxiety. They've had things like pain pumps taken out to be able to have that eternal place where they can go to that comfortable state within their bodies. That the power of our minds are amazing. So I'm so glad you showed up for this class. I really want to give you some tools that can change your life. So to begin with, we'll start off, and if you're driving, maybe you won't follow along with this because we want you to stay alert. But if you're in a place where you can do this, I'll also put in suggestions when you do the sigh breath, maybe to stay more alert and awake and focused so that you can drive safely or whatever you might be doing. But I guide people when you're first doing this to don't do it when you're operating heavy equipment or something like that. So use your best judgment and what feels good. But one of the first tools that I teach to people is we just start off with a sigh breath, and then I associate positive feelings with it so that it becomes waking hypnosis and a self-hypnosis tool that you can use as you go about your daily life, so that we can turn around those negative emotions where we start to feel tension build up, or we can start to feel that overwhelm and redirect to a softer, lighter place. So let's all start off, follow along with me with the sigh breath that we all know how to do. Let's do that again. And this time on the sigh breath, let's go ahead and keep our eyes alert and awake and open, but notice you don't have to close your eyes to feel clear-minded, to bring in that relaxation, that we can be very awake and engaged, and we can feel a sense of peace and well-being. So for instance, I've had it when I'm driving into Boise on a wintry day. We're about an hour or so away from there. And I've had my fingers super tense and tight. And go within and see how you can be very intentional, but we don't have to take on all that tension that we often do. That we can have just kind of that right amount of tension so that our fingers don't go completely limp or fall off the steering wheel, and we can be even more clear-minded and awake. And one of my clients was a mother, I believe, of 5, and she would use this tool when she drove into Boise because there would be bickering and fighting, and it would take her to a place of centeredness and peace. So now I'm going to guide you with the tool. And if you're driving or doing something where it's not appropriate, don't follow along and do this. But to associate those beautiful feelings with the sigh breath. So go ahead, take a beautiful sigh breath if that feels right. And on the exhale, if it's right, you can close your eyes or keep them open. But let's imagine that extra tension releases, shoulders dropping, a feeling of maybe just a beautiful soft energy coming into the brain, into the facial muscle, soft eyes, loving eyes, a relaxed facial muscles that we can be alert, we can be clear-minded, we can be very much awake, but we can let go. We can let a feeling of flow into our body, just like we'd allow water to freely flow through a pipe. A feeling of it's okay, it's safe to let go, it's safe to feel good. That like a duck in water, effortless and easy. If a suggestion I give doesn't resonate, if it doesn't feel right with you, that the beautiful deal is that you can just let it beat off you like water off a duck's back. Because we know from life experience that when we're in a centered and peaceful place, we say no to ideas that are stupid. That when we feel safe to say no, we'll say no when it doesn't feel right. So feel that sense of you're not here to please me, that you get to live your life the way you want to live it, that we want you to say yes to the suggestions and the ideas that resonate, that you believe if you believe them, they would make your life better, but to have the freedom to let it go if it doesn't work out, because that's how we learn. That's how we figure things out. So you're not here to please a hypnotist, but to get tools that will make your life better and will bless it. So once again, let's go ahead and take another beautiful breath. And on the exhale, keep your eyes open if you want. You can close them, but feel this wonderful release. It is safe for me to let go of the tension in my neck, to feel the neck go more relaxed, more comfortable, to feel the shoulders relax and drop, to keep the limbs using just the right amount of resistance that you need, whether you're driving or doing chores or whatever you're doing right now. And opening up your eyes if they close. Let's do that again. So what we're doing is we're associating the sigh breath with good feelings, so that when you use it, you can trigger these good feelings to kind of flush or override those negative trains of thought. So once again, taking that beautiful sigh breath, and see if you can't notice on the inhale, your body opens up to receive more. And then on the exhale, again, it's more open and receptive. That we want to come from a place not of tension and closed off. And that's what feelings of overwhelm and stress and anxiety feel like. They close us off to solutions and answers and higher perspectives. When we come from that place of procrastination, we want to, again, go to that feeling good place so we can have that broader perspective, free of the pressure, where we can think more clearly. And since I goofed up and I already did another class on this whole deal, you'll have 2 classes to listen to, and different elements I'm sure will come up in this class. But to give yourself permission to feel good, not because I say so. Let's go ahead and take that sigh breath. And on the exhale, feel the unnecessary tension let go, release, drop you, relax you. Let's imagine maybe a beautiful river of light coming from above, filled with softness, filled with light energy. Maybe you understand it as God energy. love energy, joy energy, just feelings that feel light and soft, peaceful, comfortable, free, bringing a stillness to your mind, an openness, a receptivity to do things differently, to see things differently. And if your eyes close, go ahead and open them up. But the beautiful deal is this can be a tool to let go of that resistance, to catch that resistance before it takes hold. And some of the other tools, if you haven't listened to the first couple of master classes, we'll briefly go through some of those again, and then we'll add this new tool in. That when we go to a place of judgment, a judgment against ourselves, it feels better if we blame somebody else. But that truly you have seen from your life experience, if we go to a place of unconditional love, that's where we can be clear-minded. So feel good first and then, but to know that sometimes that's how we can get a breath of fresh air to move up the emotional guidance scale. And this is a tool that I was introduced to by the Abraham-Hicks material. And I'm going to post in the bottom of the replay. And if you signed up, whether it's through the email, and I'll also post it in the joy space of the emotional guidance scale. If you're starting from a place of hopelessness or depression or feeling really overwhelmed or anxious, and a place that can take you kind of up the ladder to better feeling places might just be a feeling of blaming someone else. It can give you temporary relief because we know we're supposed to feel good about ourselves. And when you think about it, when you feel good, it's like, oh yeah, this is where I'm supposed to live. This feels like home. This is where I'm guided to. That sense of well-being. But when you feel anxious, you feel like something's wrong. When you feel a sense of any kind of negative energy or momentum, like stress, procrastination, you know you don't want to stay there. But our emotions are our guidance, just like the ability to feel hot and cold. That's a beautiful thing. You want to know if you're getting too close to a hot wood stove. You want to know that it's intensely hot and can burn you so that you move back. So that uncomfortableness keeps you safe. It guides you. But feel when you get too close to the hot wood stove, let's say you don't have the space to move back, you can feel even just moving back a little bit can give you some relief. And it's the same thing with our emotions. They're our guidance. So that if you can get a little bit of softness, that's going to allow you to reach that next emotional rung where the emotions feel softer and lighter and freer. Just like, for instance, if I'm starting off in Garden Valley and I want to get to this town of Boise, that it's going to take me steps to get there, but I don't start to freak out and panic when I'm halfway in between. I appreciate when I get to the halfway mark, which for me is this town called Horseshoe Bend. It's like, yay, I'm moving towards my destination. And if we remember the joys in the journey, we didn't come to just get it done. Oh, I'm not gonna enjoy my life until I'm in Euphoria. I'm not gonna enjoy my life until I'm model weight or I lose that 20 pounds. I'm not going to enjoy my life and I'll relax when I get the project done. Or I'll relax when my kids behave or things work out for them, where we develop the pattern of thought of keeping our happiness at bay. We make it unconditional. So to give yourself permission to unconditionally love yourself when you're in a place of fear or anxiety, that we know so much better usually for other people in our lives. And let's go ahead and practice that wonderful tool of self-hypnosis. Take the sigh breath. And on the exhale, just feel yourself settle, drop, relax. Imagine maybe images of like a dog, completely at ease, taking a nap. Maybe imagine a sleeping baby, looking so peaceful, so relaxed. Just feel that sense of freedom to completely and totally let go of where you're at. That makes sense. Let's welcome, as we do the sigh breath, beautiful energies. Take that beautiful sigh breath. Exhale, let's imagine a beautiful river of light coming from above, filled with infinite, unconditional love that just meets you wherever you're at. So when we go to a place of anger, love yourself anyway. Make that okay. Meet it with this beautiful technique of just unconditional love. Because truly, feeling good works better. I want to feel good because I want my life to work. Imagine yourself keeping that in the forefront of your mind. I want to feel good because I want my life to work better and I want to enjoy it. I want to be happy. I'm willing to let go, to feel good, to search for the softer, lighter thoughts that will bless you. And I love where we went in the last master class. One of the participants, she had gone to a stressful, overwhelmed place, and she was putting pressure on herself. That oftentimes when we pressure ourselves, it leads to procrastination. It leads to feelings of resentment and overwhelm. So once again, let's take that beautiful sigh breath. On the exhale, just feel yourself drop and relax and let go. Let's do that again. And on the exhale, imagine like a hot air balloon untethered, where you just float up to these higher, softer, lighter energies. That the beautiful deal is, I say this again and again because we have been trained up to think something is wrong with us when we go to negative thoughts. That feeling good works better. Loving yourself works better. Releasing the pressure works better. So once again, take that beautiful breath. And on the exhale, feel yourself drop and relax, letting go, releasing, feeling lighter, softer, more comfortable, more free. So with this emotional guidance that I'm going to share, if you're starting off in a place of overwhelm, to recognize when you use this breath, if it can just bring you some softness and relief, you've already turned in a different direction. If you've gone to a place of, well, what's wrong with me? Why am I not getting this done? Why am I procrastinating? Then we're feeding those negative emotions and the brain is accommodating. It says, oh, the topic is feeling a sense of what's wrong with us. We've got lots of those because you could argue for feeling bad. You can look for things to feel more overwhelmed or stressed about, and it can lead to more of that. So that truly just meeting your negative emotion with softness and love can really turn things around. And when you're aware of where you're at, it can be such a beautiful blessing. Like, for instance, to give an example, at one time, we were facing foreclosure on our home. That my husband had had health issues. He hadn't been able to work. I think it was for about a year, and we were behind on the mortgage, and they started to put into action foreclosure steps. Well, I had a lot of negative feelings come up. And I remember this one day that I was at this really, really low place. And I showed up for myself. It's like, okay, give me your worst feelings you've got. And I allowed myself, because oftentimes we pretend we don't feel them because they just feel so awful. Well, the world isn't going to explode if you bring up your worst feelings. You're not going to hold somebody back. So I'm not saying kind of vomit or throw up onto somebody else, but give yourself permission to bring things up for yourself and love yourself anyway. So it's like I just gave myself permission to totally and completely love whatever thought that came up. It's like, well, that's okay that you're feeling like your husband is a loser. I love you anyway, Sharon. I mean, these were irrational thoughts. They're not thoughts I had all the time. They weren't true, but it felt so good to meet these worst, uncomfortable thoughts I had, to bring them out into this place of freedom and meet them with love and to start to let go. And then I went to places of, I felt like, oh my gosh, well, if I was a better person, if I had it all together, I wouldn't be in this position. What a loser am I? And it just felt so good to just kind of share with myself my worst thoughts and to completely and totally meet them with love. And from that place of softness, it's like, I felt like this balloon that just had all the air taken out of it in a good way. It just felt so good to let it go. I felt so light and free. So wherever you're at, to give yourself permission to just love yourself anyway. And you'll be able to see on the emotional guidance scale, maybe you're not hanging out in depression. Maybe you're at a higher place of anger or resentment. That's a better feeling. There's more movement. I tell the example of somebody that is, you're watching a movie and the character is depressed and these bad guys do all these terrible things to him and then he commits suicide. Oh my gosh, that's a bummer. We don't want to see that movie. But then we see the movie where the same thing happens. This time it's a woman and she gets her mojo on and she becomes the heroine and she takes the bad guys or gals out. I'm not saying you want to watch that movie necessarily either, but it's going to appeal to you more if you're coming from a place of hopelessness, because there's more movement, there's more energy. So if you go to a place of judging, whether it's like, I'll go to a place of judging the government or those stupid rules, or why do people act that way? And it feels better than going to a place of hopelessness. So that using the emotional guidance scale as a tool, and I'm not sure if I shared with it in this class or the one that I just did, but I got this tool from Abraham-Hicks and then I created my own version. So I didn't create the original concept of it, and it didn't originally come from me, but it has been so helpful. And I've had clients that print it out. In fact, I'm going to see if I can't put it in PDF format if you signed up for it on the email, so I can give that to you so you can have that to print out. But super helpful. So in certain areas, like I was talking about in the master class, like taxes, I can see, oh my gosh, I'm hanging out in such a higher place on the emotional guidance scale. I'm moving in a good direction. So to know it can take time and to let that be okay. In some areas, it's like, oh yeah, on that topic, I'm usually in a place of satisfaction. Sometimes I go to temporary overwhelm or fears, but I'm pretty solid in that place. And you can move up to even higher places. So once again, let's go ahead in our mind and think about something like that in our life that comes up, but don't stay there. Don't try to feed it or have your accommodating mind find more things on that topic. Let's prove to yourself that you can use this beautiful waking hypnosis tool, self-hypnosis, and go ahead, take, as soon as you think of it, take that sigh breath. Feel yourself meet yourself with love. Like, that's okay. That's okay that I feel those feelings. That's normal. That's human. That's so normal that it feels good to meet myself with love. It feels good to Go to that place of unconditional love. Go ahead, take another sigh breath. And on the exhale, feel a beautiful flood of total support and love, a feeling of tenderness, a feeling of gentleness, kind of that sense of when you did something that you weren't supposed to, and somebody says, that's okay. You didn't know. That's okay. That's okay. You didn't know. It's like, that's okay. We're all human. No big deal. When you give yourself permission to completely meet yourself with love, to have any feelings. That doesn't mean you have to throw up on somebody. It's like, well, that's okay. If I'm feeling frustrated or even angry feelings towards my kids, towards my mom, my parent, my siblings, a coworker, a boss, a friend, because we can love people and we can have temporary angry thoughts that if it starts to get fed, it can explode and go to even more angry places. So what? So what? Meet rage with a softness and a love. And as soon as you do, you let go of the resistance. So it's like you let go and start to turn around those negative feelings. And sometimes at first, when you say, well, that's okay that you feel these awful feelings, or that's okay that you're feeling grumbly or you're feeling anxious or fearful, I love you anyway. Sometimes it might feel untrue or kind of sarcastic because it doesn't feel genuine yet. But even so, keep doing it anyway because you're showing up for the intent to feel good. And that can be enough. It's like just saying, I'm willing to feel good. Even if I don't get there right away, I'm willing to go to that place where life works better, where I can find thoughts that feel lighter and softer, that make my life work better, that allow me to enjoy my life more. So once again, open up your eyes. So I loved where we went last time, where we had Ruth being our willing volunteer. I don't know, Emily, if you're at a place that you can do something like that and volunteer. You said you were driving and doing chores and stuff, so no worries if you're not. I don't know, Crystal has been this brave volunteer for the first 2 master classes, and it's okay if you don't want to, but do you want to be a volunteer again? Does that feel good to you?
Oh, sure. I don't mind.
Okay. So I'm going to do our gallery. And so again, I love the different aspects have come out. So now we have another master class. Yay. But this time I am going to set it so my timer so that I remember to get in our Joyful Abundance course. I kind of got thrown off because I totally goofed up. But such a beautiful example to show people to love yourself anyway, no matter what. So we're using the emotional guidance scale now. We're using some of the other tools that we brought in of it's going to work out so much better if you meet yourself from a place of softness and love, that we can really use the emotional guidance scale to help us out and to really recognize. And that's what I'd like to bring out now. Like, for instance, I shared how with my taxes, I used to hang out probably hopeless, angry, mad. I definitely didn't line up with my taxes and doing my taxes. And now I still go to a place sometimes of overwhelmed and stressed, but I redirect so much more quickly. And I've actually been able to do the taxes and feel appreciation and go to a place of well-being. Huge. But I would not say, oh, I'm so happy to do my taxes. Oh, I can't wait. I'm not going to say that it doesn't stir up trouble within me. So I'm still working up the emotional guidance scale on that topic. But how wonderful if I start to get mad at myself. It's like, oh, Sharon, I can't believe you didn't follow through with that one simple thing that would have made your taxes so much easier. What's wrong with you? I may go there now, but I meet it with softness and love. So it dissipates sooner and I can get back on track to, oh, that's right. I'm loving myself. Oh, that's right. I get to feel good about it anyway, that I'm a human being, that I'm continuing to learn and figure things out and find my way. And what a relief. So do you have a topic that you can think of that you're maybe lower on the emotional guidance scale, but that you've moved up from, and you can see that you're moving forward in a better way? Or we could do either one. We could start with one that you feel really low on, and that can be beautiful too.
Hmm. Well, I one that I yo-yo back and forth on is
Perfect.
is like getting judgy or getting perturbed by, like, when people do things that I deem as and I hate to say this, right? Because I don't like this about myself, but like when people do either dumb or insensitive things, I get super judgy about it. And I'm always like, okay, no, stop that. You don't want to be that way. You're being,
That is
just being
such a good
judgy.
example, and I'm sure most of us can relate to that. And I know for my husband, I really notice it more in him than myself, of course, because we can stand other people easier, but where he just takes for granted something that other people they don't know, because that's not a talent or an expertise in their area. And I know I can do the same thing too. So, and I love that you kind of know, well, that's not who I want to be. I like being kind and giving people wiggle room and giving them the benefit of the doubt and coming from a loving space. And I know that works out better for me. So first off, let's meet that part of you that you say, well, I don't like it when I do that. So let's just kind of make it softer and meet that with love. It's like, oh, there I go, being human. That's okay. Um, Yay, my guidance let me know, because it doesn't feel good to feel that. And that's my guidance telling me, oh, something's off. I want to go to softer, lighter thoughts. So let's go ahead when you're kind of judgmental towards yourself, because I've done that. Oh, well, you're supposed to know this stuff, Sharon. Haven't you practiced it enough? I can't believe you're going to that place. What's wrong with you? Why are you being so judgmental? We're human. We're going to judge. And in fact, we're born to judge. It's part of who we are to help keep us safe. We have to judge. Is this a dangerous situation, or is this a safe situation? But the beautiful deal is when we come from a place of more openness, we come where we go to that unconditional love. We don't do away with our preferences. We don't do away with our discernment. So from that beautiful freeing place, you can let it go. What needs to, that you'll know when to kind of speak up, when to let things go, when to step forward, because part of that judgment is a belief that in order to change something, in order to make people better, I need to judge them, and maybe even correct them and let them know. I've done that with a lot more with my kids, raising them, and with my husband, probably the most. It's like, well, let me tell you what you're doing wrong. And it doesn't really work out for me. But when I come from a place of centeredness and love, I might speak up. And then somebody can hear it if they're coming from a more open, receptive place, because we're not pushing or doing battle. So that you would agree that you want to go to softer, lighter feelings, right? So let's just start off and do this for yourself, everybody, that if you judge yourself for not living in euphoric, joyful, pure thoughts all the time, it's like, let that go. That's not what being human is. And it's normal to judge, that we need to do it. It's normal we need to kind of sometimes put things in categories. so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel every single time. Like, for instance, I brush my teeth and that serves me, or I had certain beliefs about taxes, like, oh, you've got to get it done by April 15th and send it in. And then as I took the pressure off, I discovered things like extensions and things that I didn't really know. So to give yourself a break, to be kind to yourself, to not expect yourself to be in this pure state of love all the time, because it's not going to happen. So if you're like Crystal and me, let's just go ahead, do that beautiful breath. And then on the exhale, just gift ourselves this unconditional love. It's normal to judge. That's okay that you judge people that do stupid things. I did something stupid today. I'm just going to love myself anyway. And we know other people that do stupid things and we love them anyway. But sometimes, because maybe we have some negative thoughts or feelings going about somebody else, that them doing that stupid thing, just like the what is it? The camel's back broke from just that extra stick, that broke the camel's back. So that we're not coming from that loving, soft place, but that's okay to love ourselves anyway. And go ahead and open up your eyes, Crystal. Does that feel a little softer and more loving? Oh my gosh, just giving ourselves that gift of being human. When we have a negative thought pattern going towards somebody, often it's because it's a relationship that we really want to work well, because maybe it's a boss, or it is a family member, because we care, we want things to work, we want things to go well. We really do want to have those harmonious relationships, so that we might be more sensitive when they do something that we feel like can harm us or not work out. It can really throw us off balance. So it's going to work out better, really, to meet yourself with softer, lighter feelings. So let's go to a place of, and you don't say anything. If anybody listened to this, that they would recognize themselves that make them feel bad. So we don't want to kind of bring up any examples like that. We want to feel peaceful, but maybe can you think of an example, a more specific example, and we'll see if we can't go to a softer, lighter place.
Yeah, actually there was something this week where I was really reflecting on it, and something you said just now too, where it shows up when we feel like someone's doing something to either harm us. And then the other side of that is in situations where I want to help. I feel like that's for me, like where
you care so much, and if they would just
yes and
totally
this is
both.
Right. And I've been getting that aha this week, and then you're reinforcing that. So that's so helpful, because there was a situation where I was at a restaurant and there was a hostess, and I think she said she was 21, and she was talking about some health problems. And they were health problems that I had 20 years ago, that I have solved and that I healed. And I was kind of sharing my experience, and she was acting interested, but she wasn't like writing anything down or saying, oh, tell me more. And I'm like, I've literally solved your problem. And I was like, I wish someone like me would have come into my life at her age to hand me the solution. And she was,
oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. So let's go right into the things that are going to help lift that pressure, to feel relief, so that you can enjoy your life and you can feel good. And from that beautiful place of feeling good, people are more likely to be able to hear us. When we feel like, oh, this is so important for you to listen to, it can feel like pressure. And a lot of times people close themselves off to protect themselves when they feel somebody coming at them. And here's another beautiful thing. And so we'll reinforce these things. We'll use the self-hypnosis technique to go a little bit deeper, and reinforce the other beliefs that if you believe them, they might give you a lot of relief and really relieve the pressure. That and it's nobody appointed you as God. That the beautiful deal is that people figure things out, they find their way, and sometimes you're not the right person, you're not the right path, or you're not the right way. I mean, I like to believe that, oh, this is so good, everybody should do it, everybody should do my joyful abundance course. But the truth is that's not true. That we're all at different places on the emotional guidance scale. And sometimes you might have been that piece. And I've had it for me where people have given me good advice, and it wasn't until 5 years later where it's like, oh, because we don't learn from people telling us, we learn from our life experience and what works, what doesn't work. And we get to that certain place at different times. So that if you took responsibility for your own self instead of her, wouldn't have it felt good? Like, oh, that felt good to share what worked out for me. Oh, that really felt good to remind myself, oh my gosh, I'm at a whole different place. That can be a really good feeling to know I took some actions that gave me relief and gave me good health. And I so appreciate that. It's so good to feel good. It's so good to be healthy. I so appreciate where I'm at in my life. And so you could have used it as an excuse to feel good and to love her, to give her that, because you want free will. You don't want somebody forcing you, taking your path. I mean, people have found solutions to health issues from Western medicine, from alternative methods, and from just hypnosis. And it's not our deal to dictate how people figure it out and find their way. And you really want that for others, don't you? You did you want somebody coming along and saying, no, Crystal, I'm going to put you in handcuffs. I'm going to force you to do this, because there's a lot of people and a lot of opinions out there. And there's hi, we get to see Emily. Yay. There's a lot of people that have had solutions and answers unfold and happen in their own way. So let's do our once again, our self-hypnosis technique. Take a beautiful breath. And on the exhale, just if you can, let your eyes close, let things settle, drop, relax, loosen, and feel this beautiful river of light come in. And just reminding yourself, oh, nobody appointed me God. I don't have to take the whole world onto my shoulders. It is okay for me to let go, to relax. And here's another piece that has really served me. And you don't have to believe it. You might get to where you want to go with a different belief. It really doesn't matter. But that it is a benevolent and loving universe. Whether you call it higher power, God, infinite intelligence, divine energy, spirit, or just love energy, where can you get to that place of just knowing there's support and help all around us, that she can find her answers in different ways, that I might have been that seed that grows and blossoms into this beautiful tree that bears fruit for her. Because I promise you, you didn't get to that open place right away, Crystal, that it takes incremental steps, and to let that be okay. Don't take responsibility for somebody else's growth or evolution. It's just not your deal. And how does that feel? Does that feel a little softer and lighter?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh my gosh. And I've done that too, and I still do that sometimes. Well, if they would just do what I do, I start to realize too, look at that, because they're not, I'm taking away my own peace and happiness, and I'm just doing the same thing maybe somebody else is doing. And you've probably experienced, you'll start to have, because don't worry if you don't notice your uncomfortable feeling in the beginning, and turn it around with just redirecting to softer, lighter thoughts. It'll get louder and more pronounced, and it could turn into a headache or tense muscles or uncomfortable muscles. so that you don't want that. You want to add to the health and the well-being in the world. But once again, what do we do? Or what do I recommend that we do? You get to do whatever you want when you go to a judgmental thought.
Replace it with some lighter, softer thoughts.
Yeah, but just love yourself anyway, because that instantly is a lighter, softer thought. Like, that's okay. I'm feeling tense
I'm
at
human.
this waitress. That's okay that I feel like I want to throttle her. And again, you don't say these out loud, as I tell
Right.
one client who sometimes she would go to these places where she would kind of throw up to me in an email. She's like, oh, I'm sorry I did that. I feel centered and peaceful now. It's like, well, that's okay. I didn't read it. It's like, I could see you were just throwing up. That's okay. I love you anyway. So that we just want to love ourselves anyway, because it's super normal. We do care. We do want life to go well for other people.
Yeah.
So how about you, Emily? Did you have any questions? Or I'm going to go to the next part. I'm going to share about my Joyful Abundance course coming up. And because you're here live, you get the opportunity to be put into the hat, if you stay till the end, to win the course. So now we've got 3 people in the hat that I know of from this round, and then maybe a few from the live stream. So we'll see. So there's a good chance one of you guys is going to win the Joyful Abundance course. And I think it's a really good life-changing course. So did you have anything you wanted to comment, or a nice takeaway, that something that stuck out that you liked from this class?
I really appreciated when you were talking about, even just like doing the taxes, and because I think it stresses a lot of people out, and just like you were helping like with like the softer, lighter, kinder thoughts, and being like, it's okay. And I've actually come a long way in trying not to beat myself up, be like, oh, I should have done this, or like, clean the house or whatever when I'm really stressed or whatever. And now I'm like, well, I'm doing better than I used to. And so
I love that. Yay.
Yeah. And it's just like, okay, just a little bit, like if, you have a day that's not so great, like you did really good yesterday. So like not trying to be perfect. So
yeah, I love that. And that just takes the understanding even further. And I hope people really heard that too, to for that encouragement, to be like your best friend, to give what you probably would give to other people of, yeah, but you did have a good day. Yeah, so what if you didn't have a good day? It's over, it's done, it's history. It's like, love yourself anyway, because now you have a new fresh now moment. And where are you going to go in the now moment? So I love that. Thank you for sharing that. How about you, Crystal? Did you have a takeaway? Something that felt good from today that stands out?
Well, all of it always feels good.
Oh, good.
Even if it's just the reminders, right? Like, because what I was telling myself with the waitress was like, she's like similar to what you said, like she's got her own path, and then I reflected on when I was on that path, and there were things that I came across. I remember that I didn't believe at the time that I believed later.
Yeah.
So sometimes we just need that reminder. We need to remind ourselves, and yeah, I'm human, and no one appointed me God. I think that's great. I don't have to take responsibility for other people.
Yeah, I love that one. That's a belief that I like to go back to again and again, especially with people that you care so much about. Like for my husband or my kids, because I want life to go so well for them. I love them so much. But it's like, yeah, nobody appointed you God. They are figuring it out. They are finding their way. And that feels really good. All right. So the next part is I'm going to share my screen. And I'm super excited about my 6-week Joyful Abundance course coming up. I'm kind of late in the game and telling people about it and sharing it, but that's okay. I'm going to love myself anyway. I've created a beautiful course, and that's the biggest part of what I really wanted to focus my time on. I've been doing beta test courses since 2017. And then I've been offering it up now to other people, and they've had some wonderful changes. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's see if I have it set up. Look at that. I do. Yay. Celebrate when something goes right. Yeah, this has been such a fun course. I only offer it 2 times a year, so I'm not going to offer it up for a while. And again, it's about getting happier. I think it is such a lie where we'll see science is saying you have this certain happiness set point. I have seen in my own life, I've seen in clients' life that you can get happier and you can create a more thriving, resilient life. I love that. We're made to change. Life is supposed to get better for us. And in this comprehensive foundational mindset course, the very first thing is to help you get happier so that you can be resilient and thriving, so that you're not that person that it's like the wind blows them every which way. It's like, oh, my husband is grumpy, so I'm grumpy. Oh, things aren't going good for my kids, so I feel bad. Where we're just, it's like, oh, I heard this terrible thing on the news, so now I'm bummed out, where we give our control and our power over to other people. So this is a way to live life, even though you're going to have challenges, because we all do. We're going to have challenges. We're not going to have the perfect conditions. We're going to want to continue to evolve and grow. There's going to be things like we create programs and then fears come up as we expand to get bigger, and that's normal, but it's not if they're going to come. We don't have to stay there. We move, and different fears get stirred up because maybe we no longer have our friends or things that felt sure, and more trouble gets stirred up. We have parents that have health conditions, or people die on us. So many different things. And here's a beautiful way for you to feel good more of the time. And I think we underplay how good it is to feel good, how good it is to enjoy life. So this isn't a program for those that they just want the stuff. I don't care, just get me the clients, or just help me lose the weight, or just to fix my kids or spouse. It's like, it's not that kind of program. It's a program to help you overcome the stress and the overwhelm and those feelings of procrastination, or when you go to those places of feeling alone or unsafe or not enough, or something's wrong with you or unloved. And we all go to those places, whatever your negative patterns of thought are that stop you from really enjoying and living your best life and being that resilient person. I think of one woman in this course, and I just love it. She had one of her best years ever, and she had her biggest challenges ever. She had her dad go through health conditions and then die. She had, what was her other big challenge? Oh yeah, her mother had a bunch of health conditions. She had to play caretaker, and she had one of her best years ever. She had more, she's Joanne, she's a relationship love coach, and she had more ideal clients than ever. She was able to go to a vacation in Hawaii. She attracted more abundance and prosperity than ever before. And why did she do that? Because she allowed in more. She allowed in more support, more love, just super beautiful. Again, I'm kind of running out of time. So if you need to go when the time is finished, no worries. So Emily and Crystal, you're still going to be entered into the contest if you stay to the hour, because I want to be true to my word too. So if you can't stay, no worries. But if you can, I'm just going to continue on because I want people to see the replay and have this opportunity to take the course. So before I go further, who is this course for? So these examples that I give, and you can go to the details page, are people that were real people that when I wrote them, I thought about people in the course and where they started off and then where they went to. Like the entrepreneur, that they had that desire to make that bigger impact, to make more money, to make their business work, to attract more of their ideal clients, or to attract more of their clients, but they're their perfectionism and their doubts and their fears and the failures really held them back and kept them from really allowing them to move forward. And they turn that around. And I love this. It's like wherever you're at, this is such a beautiful program to move you forward. Like somebody just retired. They want to attract that ideal companion, to take more vacations, to live life more fully, but they were held back by, I don't know, I'm afraid to make a change. With like for retirement, can I really make it? Just all kinds of money fears, all kinds of different issues that start to come up, or people that hold themselves back because, well, I'm getting older and my body's going to break down and fall apart. And well, sure, with that attitude, it's going to. So to keep vibrant and alive, or maybe you're the mom and you want to stress less and relax more and enjoy life more, but it feels like you're in that survival and reactive mode, or that your life is taken over and you've lost that joyful self and balance. And all these examples are people that turn things around and completely started living life in such a softer, lighter, more joyful way. Or I think of the creative soul, where they feel like they've held themselves back. Like this one woman who, she wanted to write her book. She wanted to develop these different talents, but she was kind of more the people pleaser that served and was there for other people. And what she found is she could do that and do the things that she wanted. She could nurture and be there and empower and uplift herself. So to give you, I'm going to kind of fast forward through some of this stuff. And I have all kinds of examples of real people that did this, like Joanne, who I talked about. Oh my gosh, she has taken this course. I think she's taken it since the beta testing, and she had so many different successes. Like Kathy, who, when she came to me, she was waking up filled with dread and stomach issues, like gut-wrenching pain, because they were in such huge financial debt. And she felt so much shame around it. She hadn't shared it with her husband, which made her feel she took care of the finances. And again, as she let off the pressure and the guilt and the shame and met herself with the love, she completely turned things around. She totally got rid of her credit card debt. She built up a savings. She improved her relationship with her husband because she wasn't living in this kind of secret, fearful, shameful place. She was able to share it with him and have him on her team. And she dramatically improved her mental health in particular, because that drags us down. But she did it incrementally, and that's what I love. You don't need to expect to do everything at once. We can appreciate the incremental changes along the way. Or Cheryl, who, when she started off on the Joyful Abundance course, she was at a place in her business where she wasn't making money. She said she paid for the products that she got for herself, but she wasn't making any money at it. And she had such big doubts. I don't know if this is for me. Can I really make it happen? Okay, and this is she did one Joyful Abundance course, and then she went on to be part of my Momentum group, and that's a possibility for you. You can go on to do the membership group. She is now the top she was named the top second salesperson in her district, which I guess is a lot of people. And she got the diamond ring for her company's high achievers. It's like, I can't even tell you. And it's not just she got the stuff. The big thing is she let go of her fears and her anxieties that were holding her back from taking the inspired actions. She started, which I love. She just really showed up for herself and let herself live more bigly and freely. And she really recognized, she allowed herself to feel successful about who she was before she became successful. which is huge. So we don't have to wait until we lose weight to feel beautiful. Feel beautiful now, and beautiful is a feeling. And so she was such a beautiful example of that. And if you join up in the course, these are some people that are in the course. So you're going to see this isn't made up. This is real stuff. These are real results with real people, and they do it incrementally. And I hopefully I've been able to include a lot of people in this. I've broken it down into 6 monthly payments of $127. So I hope that a lot of people can do that, and that's affordable for them to make it work. So if you can't do that, I also sometimes offer scholarships up to different people. So reach out and talk to me. But I give all kinds of free material because I want this to be available to wherever you're at. Like Crystal, you were saying, sometimes it's you've seen it was a seed and you weren't quite ready, that this course will still be there for you. That if you can't swing it right now, and you can do a lot of free stuff if you can't do that right now. And then for those of you that can do a one-time payment, you're going to get 3 months of the Momentum membership. So if you can swing it, I would go that route, and you do save money doing that. So there is my details and offer. I haven't shared everything. There's more people, but I don't want to go too far over my time. That I share about Angel, who took the course, and some beautiful changes that happened for her. There's video testimonials, so you can hear this in their own words that you can click on to see, to show that I'm not making any of this up. And Courtney, oh my gosh, I've got to end with my all-time favorite. And I want to also let you know that she did private sessions too, as well as the joy shops. So she's gone beyond. But what I love is she is such a beautiful example of incrementally, if you do this, big changes can unfold. And if you encourage yourself with those incremental steps in that beautiful journey, she went from working 5 jobs in a relationship with a drug addicted spouse who used to do things like steal the money for rent and food. And she went to a feeling of mentally, it's like all over the place, in survival mode, high stress. She just retired at age 40, and she is sailing around the world with her soulmate. It's like, oh my gosh, she is an inspiration to me. And she did the same tools that we're using. So kind of to fast forward, I think I forget when we started to work together. I think it was 2009. And fast forward to this year, it was last year, she retired in a sailboat and is in Grenada right now, sailing around the world. So, and she did it by letting go. Like what are her words here? It really is magic. I had a lot of fear and anxiety, and that's really underplaying it. The more I was open, the more the generosity came. So yay. Any questions from anybody? I'm going to stop our share. And it's going to start soon. The course, let's see, we have 2 days to sign up for the course. And then it's, I take the cart off, and I just want to focus on getting things ready for the course and welcoming people into it. I'm going to stop my share. Did you get my enthusiasm for the course? I really believe in it. I'm super excited because I'm kind of transitioning now from, I want to offer this up to more people. So if you probably noticed, I'm putting myself out there more. I'm starting to go online in the last couple of years. And yeah, so does anybody have any questions? Or you're kind of like, here you are, the only 2 people. It's a little bit different when there's like hundreds of people. So you're kind of on the forefront. So I really appreciate you. Well, I think that that's a wrap. If anybody wants to learn more about it and you have more questions, just throw me an email or message me in Facebook and we can get on a call or we can get on Zoom and I'll be glad to give you more details. All right.
Awesome. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you for coming. And yeah, I hope one of you guys wins it. I know, yeah, we have another, but I also am going to be happy whoever wins it. I'm going to love welcoming you into the group no matter what. So I'm going to go ahead and stop our live stream. Boy, the live stream's been going for